Kethevane, as I said, there were some delays yesterday. What are the expectations for today?
Well, what we're expecting today is actually the plan that was set for Monday. We should finally get going with that jury selection. That is, if the Court of Appeals doesn't give any decision against that. The judge saying, I will proceed until I am told otherwise. So he wants to get going with jury selection, which means that those prospective jurors will be coming in to be interviewed both by the defense, by the prosecution. This is, of course, to determine whether these prospective jurors can have a look at this case that is impartial as a person can get in this trial, in this case, because of the media coverage. Now, that doesn't mean that on Monday nothing happened, because some prospective jurors have already been ruled out by both the prosecution and the defense, both sides agreeing to strike out already 16 jurors for cause, saying that they felt these people could not be impartial in this case. Other things happened also on Monday, which will be continued today, which is the motions, the preliminary motions, where both sides agree basically on what can and can't be done during the trial. One of the notable things that they agreed on was to not use the words accused and victim, and instead go with the names of Derek Chauvin and George Floyd.
Now, Kethevane, as I mentioned, the prosecution is now pushing for a third-degree murder charge against Chauvin. Tell us a bit about that and what it could mean for the rest of this trial.
Well, this third-degree murder charge was actually requested by the prosecution at the very beginning in the preliminary hearings of this case. But at the time, the judge had rejected it, saying that it didn't apply in this situation. Since then, the precedent has changed. The Court of Appeals said, well, the precedent has changed. You now have to reconsider adding that third-degree murder charge. And now the prosecution is feeling like they have a chance to bring it back. And the reason for that is that, of course, this adds another charge, a third charge against Derek Chauvin. And the more charges you have, the more chances of conviction you have. The other thing is that this third-degree murder charge will be probably easier to prove against Derek Chauvin than the second-degree murder charge. The second-degree murder, you have to prove that the killing, the death, even though it was an unintentional, happened while committing a felony, which can be very hard to prove in the case of a police officer using force in the line of duty. Whereas in the third-degree murder charge, all you have to prove is that that death happened while the person was committing an act so dangerous that it just proved that they had no regard for whether that could lead to the death of the victim. So that's where you see the prosecution going. It feels like they're pushing for that third-degree murder charge because they feel that that might be easier to prove, easier to get the jury on board and get a conviction against Derek Chauvin.
All right, Kethevane Gorjestani for us there in Minneapolis. Thank you very much indeed for bringing us up to speed on that case.